Here we are today on Tuesday, September 24th. We're talking about the product rule. Make sure the date and name are written at the top, 9/24/19. Yeah, what's our objective today, Stego?
Use the product rule.
Oh man, that's a hard objective.
Right?
So you obviously need to know the product rule and then you'll use it. So I've been using the addition rule over and over. I've never actually named it formally. I call it like the distributive property of the derivative, but really it's this rule in words where the derivative of the sum is the, and then reverse those words, is the what of the what? Derivatives, yeah. Is the sum of the derivatives.
Arrow West, look, she's not here.
Yeah, do you guys all want to say, hi, Arrow?
Hi, Arrow.
She's
We miss
probably-
you. Love you.
I hope that she watches this video. Arrow, if you're watching this video, good job.
If you don't, shame on you.
Yes, exactly. So in this first example, I have two functions, and I'm taking the derivative of the sum of those two. So I'm taking the derivative of the sum. So far, so good.
Yes, sir.
What you're going to do is you're going to do the sum of the derivative. So I'm going to do the derivative d dx of x to the power of 3, and I'm going to sum the derivatives. I'm taking the sum of the derivatives, so plus d dx, or the derivative with respect to x of 4x squared. So I think that everyone can understand why I think of this as the distribution of the derivative. You distribute the derivative whenever there's a plus or minus sign in between functions, and you get this. So far, so good?
Yes.
I mean, this is a review so far. So, and then we actually take the derivative. Who can do that?
3x plus 8.
3x squared plus 8x. There it is. So that's the addition rule, and we can apply it multiple times. Let's practice taking the derivative. Go for it. We'll go with Claire for number 2, Gio for number 3.
5 over 2x minus 1 times 2 plus 3e to the x.
There it is, and I can go ahead and simplify that and then put 10 on the top, but I'm not going to do that. I'll pause there, make sure everyone understands. Stego, where did 2 come from? Where'd that times 2 right here come from? Good guess, but not quite. Oh, I mean, yes, it's the coefficient of that first x, but why is that a 2? What is this really? What is this whole thing right here? Dinner, exactly. Yes, you got it. Good job. You got both questions. Everyone good for number 2? We've all written it down. All right, Gio, number 3.
2 over. I don't
Right.
know. 2
What's the derivative of sine? Is it positive or negative cosine, Gio? S stands for same sign. S stands for same, so if it was positive, leave it positive.
There's 2 cosine of 3x.
Times, don't forget your,
3
good, and then keep going,
4x.
4f, close.
1.
When I take, this is general house. We haven't talked about general house very often, but general house is when I just have a letter. Derivative of general house is, just add a prime. Boink, there we go, done.
That's it.
Yeah, general house is the easiest. You just add a prime to it and you're done. Of course, don't forget dinner, but we didn't have a dinner. Our dinner is just 1. Yeah, so there it is. And then, of course, this could be simplified to 6 cosine of 3x, but I'm just going to leave it like that for now. I just want you to practice taking the addition rule.
Product
All right, so let's finally deal with the product rule. Everyone has examples 1 through 3 copied down. We know what we're doing. Fist of 5 on examples 1 through 3. How are we feeling? I got a 5, a 5, and a
4.
4. Okay, those are good scores. Product rule. So this first line is the one that's written from textbooks. You don't need to memorize it. The second line, d of 1 times 2, this is the one you're going to memorize. But let's go ahead and start with the textbook definition, which is, it's going to be f of x times g prime of x.
So f of x isn't prime.
It is not, but I'm going to add
Oh, it's plus.
g of x times f prime of x. That's the textbook definition, and it looks really difficult. You're like, f and g and primes and x's, I have to write it all out. I will teach you the easier one. Let's say whenever we take the derivative, we'll call that d1. Literally, I'm going to write d1, not d dx, just d1. So, what is this? Is this 1, or is it 2, or is it d1, is it d2? What is f of x?
F of x is 1.
Is 1. What is g prime of x? 1 d2. Plus, what about this one? What is g of x? 2. What about f prime? That's 2d1. There it is. 1d2 plus 2d1. You need to memorize that. 1d2 plus 2d1. 1d2 plus 2d1.
What does the d mean?
The derivative.
Use
Two.
derivative.
So 1 times the derivative of 2 plus 2 times the derivative of 1. That's what that means.
And what's the derivative of 2? Yeah,
The derivative of 2 is just like a representation.
Yeah, this 2 represents a function. And I should back up here because I didn't make that clear. We are assuming that we are multiplying functions. A function times a function. If I do 2 times sine of x, that's not a function times a function, even though it's a constant function, I guess. It's a coefficient. If I did e of x times sine of x, then you have 2 different functions. The main thing to look for, and I'm going to write this down, look for 2 x's being multiplied. Look for 2 x's. For example, if I did 2 times sine of x, you're not using product rule. I mean, if you use product rule, you're going to get the exact same thing as if you just took the derivative with a coefficient. That's why product rule works out still. But you're just doing extra work. This is just a coefficient, and it would be, the derivative would be
That's
2 cosine of x, exactly. You're looking for 2 different x's. So in my first example down here, I have an x and another x. So I have 2 x's. Because I have 2 x's and they're being multiplied together, I know I'm multiplying 2 different functions, and I will need product rule. So let's do it. Who can do it?
So you're going to multiply 2x times.
Hold on. What is 1?
x
Oh.
squared
X squared, good job.
times the cosine of 2x.
Plus the cosine of 2x. Don't forget your,
Two.
I don't know why I did parentheses there, times 2. Plus
2x times the sine of 2x.
ran out of room there, but yeah, there it is.
Okay, that's confusing.
And we'll go ahead and simplify it. I know we didn't simplify the other ones because we didn't have room. Question, Gio, go.
So when do you know like when to switch the sine and cosine?
So sine always turns into cosine. Cosine always turns into sine. This one, we did not take the derivative. Right here,
Oh.
or sorry. I guess if we were writing this correctly, can I back up there and write it in the correct order? So 2d1.
Yeah.
2d1 would have been sine of 2x times the derivative of 1. Derivative of 1 is 2x.
Okay.
So that's writing it in the correct order, and I think I have more room off to the right-hand side. There it is. And then if I simplify this down, it's going to turn into 2x squared cosine of 2x plus what?
2x
Not careful. Oh yeah, you're right. 2x,
sine of 2x.
2x sine of 2x.
Whoa.
That's confusing.
I want everyone to go through number 4 again. How did we get each part? Where did x squared come from? Where did cosine 2x come from? Where did each of these parts come from? Know the whole problem for number 4 before we move on to number 5. Digest this math. Good. Stagger, you need some more time to digest it? All right, let's do number 5. Who wants to do it?
I know the first thing.
Let's do it, Gio.
Negative ex
Negative e to the power of x. Oh, I should do this blue. Negative e to the power of x
times
times derivative of natural log
1
over.
x.
Good. It's 1 over the inner, and there it is. And then, do we have a dinner on that one?
Yeah, it's 1 to the y.
So times 1, we don't have to worry about it. Perfect. Continue on, Gio.
Okay. Plus. Powerhouse x. Where's
So
that?
plus 2,
So natural log of x.
natural log of x, times.
Hold on. I don't know that one.
You don't know e-house? E-house is the easiest one.
I don't know.
E-house is e-house.
So it's just
It's times negative e to the x. And what is the inner before we do dinner of negative e to the x? Someone shout out. What is the inner? That's dinner. What is inner? Inner is whatever the exponent is. Inner is just x. And then dinner, taking the derivative of that x, is 1, so we don't have a dinner. And then, of course, we can simplify it on the next line. We can say that this is really negative e to the x over x plus, or I guess you can do minus if you're distributing the negative, minus, and it doesn't matter the order, natural log of x e to the x.
okay.
So far, so good. I guess I could have spaced that out a little bit more. And then number 6. This one is a kind of tricky one, but it's also kind of easy because it's just 2 variables. The main thing here is you still have 2 variables, x and y. If I have 2 variables and they're being multiplied together, it's going to be product rule. This is the one that people forget the most. Last year and the year before it, everyone always said, x, y, you just take the derivative and it's just y, isn't it?
It's
No.
one, right?
It's x plus y.
So, well, careful. You have to use product rule. It's still product rule because you have 2 variables multiplying to each other. First variable is y, or x. Second variable is y. So 1d2, 2d1. What is 1?
X.
What is d2? What is the derivative of
One.
2? So think about this as general house. General house is the easiest.
Is it
Y prime. There it is. The derivative of y is y prime.
but why isn't it 1?
Because you're saying the d dx derivative with respect to x, d dx of
Oh, 'cause
y
it's of,
is
okay.
dy over dx, which is y prime.
Okay, so then the next one's going to be plus y to the x prime, right?
What is x prime? Yeah, what is x prime?
One,
X prime is, you seem hesitant.
You know this.
I thought,
X prime, it's,
What's the derivative?
yeah, derivative of x is,
am I right? No?
derivative of x is just 1.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So then it's just x y prime plus y.
There it is. X, y prime plus y.
S.
Yeah, it's tricky, but there it is. It's 1, which is x, d2, the derivative of y is y prime, plus 2, 2 is y, and then d1 is just 1. Derivative of x is 1. So far, so good? All right, let's open it up to homework then.